Chapter 1. After it was confirmed that my face, destroyed by sulfuric acid, was beyond recovery, my husband Louis said, "It's okay," and then disappeared for an entire day. That night, I heard him muttering in the bathroom, trying to suppress his frustration. "Zoe, why is it that the one lying next to me is that ugly freak, not you? Even if she became like this to save me, does that mean she gets to morally blackmail me for life? One day, I'll marry you in style. Wait for me." My emotions spiraled out of control. I grabbed my phone, ready to delete his WeChat, only to see a new friend request from the already deactivated account of Luis. "Diana, I swear I'm done hanging out with those gang guys. Please reply. Just once, okay?" Wasn't that exactly what he told me when he failed the college entrance exam at 18? My heart jumped, but then I saw another message, more of his teenage sweet talk. I forgot to be afraid. My fingers flew over the keyboard. "Let's break up." "No, please don't leave me." I know I was wrong. From now on I'll stay in front of our house, running the convenience store. "I swear I won't collect protection fees anymore." His words on the screen were both humble and passionate, so cautious, just like when a boy first falls in love. The Luis I knew now would never care about my feelings like that. As I cooled down, I convinced myself it had to be a prank. Someone was messing with me, trying to make a joke out of my misery. I typed angrily, "Who the hell are you? Say it now or I'm blocking you." No, it's me, Luis. "I'm serious about the shop. Here, look." He sent a selfie. 18-year-old Luis, so full of life, with bright, clear eyes. Behind him, the old shelves of his family's tiny house, stacked with snacks and supplies. But that whole neighborhood had already been demolished. It couldn't have been faked. Could it really be the Luis from 10 years ago? My thoughts drifted back to that summer after high school graduation. Luis had turned over a new leaf because of me and opened a small convenience shop, but his former gang boss wouldn't let him go. He came, holding a bottle of sulfuric acid, threatening Luis to return and work for him. In that moment, I didn't think. I instinctively shielded Luis with my body. The burning pain tore across my face. I collapsed, nearly unconscious. When I woke up, my head was wrapped in bandages. When the nurse unwrapped them, I saw the horror in her eyes, heard children screaming in the hall. That was the moment I knew. My face was ruined. I had become a monster. I didn't even dare go to college, but Luis had held me close. "You'll always be the most beautiful in my eyes. Marry me, I'll prove my love with my whole life." I believed him, believed everything was worth it. Now the phone screen flashed. An 18-year-old Luis kept pouring out his heart to me. I typed quickly, "Whatever happens, it has nothing to do with me. Stay away. You only bring me misfortune." The reply came instantly. "Diana, wait for me. I'll prove I mean every word." I locked my phone, exhausted. Suddenly, I heard noise from the bathroom. Startled, I jumped into bed and pretended to sleep. The sound of him rummaging through drawers echoed in my ears. I secretly opened my eyes just a sliver, and saw Luis rummaging through every corner of my bedside drawer. Only when he reached the third layer did he finally find it. That treasured jewelry box I had so carefully hidden, like he had found a priceless treasure. He opened it. Inside, the heart-shaped necklace gleamed under the light. Solid gold, radiant and dazzling. "Zoe, I can't wait to give you this heirloom necklace. I'm coming down now." After his hurried footsteps, the door clicked shut, softly, barely audible. Tears surged from my eyes again. That necklace. Luis had once placed it around my neck when we were 18. He had stared into my eyes so earnestly back then. "This has been passed down since my great-great-grandmother. They say, as long as you wear it, you and your partner will be blessed with a lifetime of love and happiness." I had kept it safe all these years, but the necklace held no magic. It couldn't bind the heart that had longed to wander. Under the moonlight, I threw on a coat and followed him. When we reached the dim alley by the entrance of the complex, I nearly gasped out loud. Zoe. The same Zoe who had run with Luis in high school. The little gang girl. It was her. Back then, everyone knew she had a massive crush on him. She had seduced Luis into spiraling down, trapping him with a bet. dragging him into her world. From a model student, he had fallen, becoming a thug swinging a bat and collecting protection fees. It took me 3 long years to pull him back. Only when he failed the college entrance exam, and the burden of supporting his parents landed on his shoulders, did he finally wake up. He realized I was the one who truly cared for him, and cut ties with Zoe. I never imagined that the woman Luis cheated with was her. This necklace looks so much better on you, Diana. Looking like that, she doesn't deserve it. Luis beamed as he clasped the necklace around Zoe's neck. His eyes glowed, undeniably captivated. But hadn't he once said, I was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen? He was the one who ruined me, and yet I was the one left to carry the weight of his sins for the rest of my life. Chapter 2. In the silent alley. Their shameless sounds of pleasure gradually echoed. Entwined voices pierced through my ears, forcing me to flee in panic. I ran back into the neighborhood. My phone vibrated in my pocket. When I checked, 18-year-old Luis had sent an excited message. Now that you've accepted my necklace, you're mine. No take-backs. Yes, it was on that very day. He had given me the necklace as a symbol of love, and just now, I had watched him put the same necklace on another woman. What a cruel joke. I wasn't going to reply, but suddenly my neck began to itch. I reached up, and to my shock, found a gold necklace around my neck, a solid gold heart-shaped pendant. My heart skipped a beat. Could what he did over there really change what happens here? Listen to me, I'm Diana from 10 years in the future. I took acid for you. My face is ruined, and you cheated on me with Zoe. You broke me. If you truly love me, then stay away from me, please. I beg you. One message after another. I sent them in desperation. Silence on the other end. Luis, at 18, must have thought it was a prank. He'd probably scoffed, thinking it ridiculous. So I went further. If you don't believe me, I can tell you this. In 3 years, that entire neighborhood will be torn down. With the compensation money, we'll build a logistics company from scratch. And then, I believe you. His reply stunned me. The way you talk, it's not the Diana I know. But almost instantly, his pride got the better of him. His messages turned manic. For you. I just fought those gangsters. I'm covered in bruises. I said I'd quit and I did. I remember every song you like, every snack you love, every time I restocked the shop. I picked your favorites, just to have an excuse to see you. How dare you question my love? You know what, Before he could finish, my phone was snatched from my hand. Luis, the present-day Luis, stood behind me, his face cold. So you were following me. Good. Saves me the trouble of explaining. Diana, let's get a divorce. Then he pulled up the chat I had just been having, and sneered. Flirting with someone else already? Who is he? He probably hasn't even seen what you look like now. No man could stomach facing that same hideous, disgusting face, day after day for 10 years. He didn't even recognize the boy he used to be. That boy would have taken a beating and still never spoken to me like this, let alone stab straight into my heart. From behind him, Zoe stepped out, her makeup flawless, dressed head to toe in designer labels, all gifted by Luis. No doubt, he never bought me clothes or handbags, said there was no point, since I never left the house anyway. Zoe's sharp eyes noticed the necklace on my neck. She touched her own, then scoffed. Wow, even looking like that, you still care about fashion? But what's the point of flaunting a fake? Fake is fake. The one who truly shares love and a future with Luis is me. Zoe's voice was smug, soaked in triumph, and Luis stood silently beside her, not even bothering to defend me. Not a word. Instead, he pulled a divorce agreement out of his bag and handed it to me, so he had it ready all along. He'd been carrying it around, just waiting for the right time. Since he was so prepared, I decided to make it easy for him. I took the pen, ready to sign, but the moment my eyes swept over the terms, I froze. He had tried to seize all the shares of the logistics company we had built together. Did you forget? Half of the startup money came from my family's relocation compensation. Chapter 3. Luis burst into laughter, as if he just heard the most ridiculous joke in the world. Come on! My logistics company is now the biggest in the entire city. That's all my blood, sweat, and tears. Since the accident, you've been holed up at home doing nothing. How do you even have the nerve to ask for half? At most, I'll return the 300,000 yen you put in. That's me being generous. He grabbed a pen, revising the terms like he was granting a favor, impatience and contempt dripping from his voice. But I remembered, back when he begged me for funding. He had promised with such conviction, I'll work hard, if I ever make it. You'll never go without. To help him, I gave up my chance to buy a new apartment with my family's relocation money, and gave all of it to him. After all, I was alone now. Living with him was enough. What did I need multiple homes for? But property prices had soared since then. Now, with 300,000 yen, I couldn't even afford a bedroom. What did he expect me to do? Live on the streets? Seeing that I hesitated to sign, Zoe reverted to her old gangrel ways. She swung her designer handbag and smashed it hard against my head. Blood trickled down. The dizziness hit me instantly, and I had to grab the railing just to stay upright. Be grateful. Keep stalling, and you won't even get that 300,000 yen. You look like that, and you still think you can cling to Luis for 10 years? It's disgusting. She raised her bag again to strike. Luis just crossed his arms, watching coldly, not a move to stop her. Enough. I'll sign. I scrawled my name across the page. Then I took back my phone and snapped pictures of both the agreement and my bloodied face. What? Trying to keep evidence now? Let me tell you, without witnesses, it's useless. You can go cry to whoever you want. Zoe lunged again, shoving me hard. I instinctively dodged, grabbed her wrist, and flung her to the side. She stumbled, slammed into the railing, and collapsed to the floor. What are you doing? Luis panicked and slapped me across the face. Pain flared across the old burn scar I'd gotten from shielding him from acid. His eyes were bloodshot as he scooped Zoe into his arms, voice sharp and vicious. Zoe's pregnant. If anything happens to the baby, I'll make you pay for it. He stormed off to the garage with Zoe in his arms. Soon after, I heard the car speed toward the hospital. I let out a bitter laugh, went home, and sent the divorce papers and photos of my wounds to 18-year-old Luis. Only then did I notice his last message. Crap! That gang leader and his guys showed up. Watch this. I'll protect you no matter what. Gang leader? Did that mean? Because he confronted his big bro early, he'd already triggered a violent retaliation? A chill swept through me. If I was still inside the store with him at that time, knowing how much I loved him back then, I would definitely jump out and shield him. Unless... Yes! There was only one way to stop her from doing something stupid. I had to contact my past self, the me from 10 years ago. I searched for the number I used back then. It was easy to remember, just one digit different from my current one. Maybe it was precisely because of all this that Luis made that careless mistake and accidentally added the present-day me as a friend, and that gave me a chance to change everything. But during the fight earlier, my phone had been smashed. The screen flickered violently. I could barely make out anything. After struggling for a while, I finally managed to search for my deactivated old number. I quickly clicked Add Friend and left a message. I'm you, from 10 years in the future. That guy, he's carrying acid. Don't you dare run in to save Luis. Call the police, now. Luis will betray you. If you don't believe me, add me, I'll send you proof. Don't save him, please. Don't save him. I waited anxiously. At last, she accepted. The 18-year-old me was still full of Luis, still blindly in love. She hesitated. Is this some kind of prank? If I call the police, Luis will be investigated. He used to work for that guy. I can't let him go to jail. No. Don't be stupid. I tapped the screen like mad, trying to send the photos, but the phone froze completely. No response. What now? Was I really going to live through it all again? Was I really going to let myself be destroyed? A second time? Chapter 4. Only when the phone flickered to life could I receive another message from her, but she was about to run off and save Luis again, and I was burning with anxiety. Morning came quickly, and just then, Luis returned with Zoe after her checkup. Without a word, he dragged me into the car, straight toward the Civil Affairs Bureau. We're signing today. I'm done waiting. Zoe and the baby are my entire world now. From this day on, you and I are nothing. His cold words cut deeper than any blade. Back when we were young, he used to confess his love to me so sweetly, talking about our future daughter. Quiet and obedient, or a brave, strong son, no matter who the child resembled. We would both love them fiercely, because they were born from our love. But on our wedding night, Luis had fled. He said he loved me, he just needed time to adjust. And year after year, he never even touched me, yet I had believed all his gentle lies, without question, outside the Civil Affairs Bureau. I was stunned to see his long-estranged parents had shown up in formal wear, but not for me. They surrounded Zoe, as if she were their rightful daughter-in-law. When their eyes fell on me, all I saw was disgust. Ugly is one thing, but you can't even have kids. What good is a wife like that? Our son only stayed with you because he was too soft-hearted, afraid you'd off yourself if he left. If it were up to me, I'd throw some money at you and be done with it. You really thought we owed you a lifetime? My mother-in-law spat insult after insult. Rapid fire like a machine gun. People passing by turned to look, and when they saw my face, they clucked their tongues in sympathy. Wow, he really is a good guy. She looks like that. And he's still stuck around this long? Exactly. Look at that beauty beside him. Who wouldn't choose someone pretty? Shame overwhelmed me. I covered my face and tried to hide from their stares. Then, my phone screen lit up again. My old avatar flashed. Thanks for the warning, but I'm going ahead. I need to see if Luis is okay. In that instant, I fell into despair. Don't drag this out, Luis snapped. I've got to take Zoe to pick out a wedding dress after this. She's waited long enough. I won't let her be wronged again. I'll give her the grandest wedding ever. His voice was filled with vows and warmth. None of it meant for me. When we got married, we were broke. No wedding, no photos, no honeymoon. We grabbed noodles at a dingy diner by the office, then signed the papers. The logistics company had just started. Even though I feared how others might look at me, I still wore a mask and hauled heavy goods with the warehouse workers. I just kept thinking, if I worked a little harder, maybe Luis could rest a little easier. As the company's finances gradually stabilized, and we could finally afford to hire more workers, I slowly stepped away from the operations and returned home. But all of that, he no longer remembered. Even the fact that I took acid for him, he had thrown it all away. I was truly a fool to waste my youth, my entire life, on a man like this. Are you sure you want to divorce? The staff at the Civil Affairs Bureau asked mechanically. When Luis looked up, he showed a look of complete clarity, as if my divorce was the most natural thing in the world. He nodded eagerly. Yes, divorce. I only said one word, hiding the tremble in my voice that I could no longer control. The phone screen was still black. There would be no miracle. Chapter 5. The staff collected our documents. Luis and Zoe stood hand in hand, gazing sweetly at each other, as if I were the one who had ruined their love. His parents beamed with pride, already discussing where to go celebrate after. Bystanders kept watching, whispering their judgments about me. So be it. Even like this, I would survive. I was an orphan. All I had done was waste a few years and get a bitter taste of the coldness of this world. If I had to go back to being alone, then so be it. I had nothing left to fear. Look, she's crying. Even monsters cry. Monsters cry. Some child shrieked in shock. Tears fell, soaking the divorce papers. My vision blurred. But when I looked again, the title on the document had changed. It now read, Marriage Certificate. W. What? Luis jumped out of his seat in panic. He looked down. His arms were covered in hideous scars, corroded by sulfuric acid. Grotesque and terrifying. Then, His old profile picture lit up again on my phone. I told you I'd protect you, and I did. Luis snatched the phone, furiously typing his accusations. The reply came slowly, but each word was firm. I won't let you hurt Diana. I'll endure any pain. You should too, because Diana never should have had to. What the hell? Luis roared and hurled the phone to the floor. It shattered instantly, but in my mind, new memories started to emerge. It was as if I had lived another life. 10 years ago, as I stepped out from the back room of the convenience store, a message finally came through. It was the divorce agreement signed by Diana and Luis. Luis's signature was bold and fluid, a sign of his unwavering determination. But Diana's name was blurred by teardrops, smudged and barely legible. Could she really be me? 10 years from now? Could everything she said be true? In my hesitation, Luis's big bro had already thrown the bottle of acid. In that life or death moment, Luis shielded me with his body, his arm raised, turning sideways to cover me completely. Then came his screams, the kind that tore through clenched teeth and echoed with pain. At the hospital, he was diagnosed with severe burns across half his body, the damage so serious it might affect his ability to have children. After that, I kept my distance from Luis. Because of the divorce agreement I had seen, I went on to study logistics in college, graduated, and returned to my hometown to found Diana Logistics Group. Over the years, Luis kept trying to win me back in every way imaginable, until, finally, on his 100th proposal, kneeling with a rose in hand, my feelings got the better of me, and I said yes. Now, as I looked at Luis, his once dazed eyes finally began to clear. He must have remembered everything, all the terrible things he once did. Diana, his voice was hoarse, tinged with something like pleading. Behind him, his parents stood, now old, hair fully gray, looking at me with hope in their eyes, as if I were their family's last lifeline. Even the murmuring crowd had changed tone, from mockery to admiration. She's really loyal. He's in that condition, and she's still willing to marry him. I heard she's worth millions now, runs a whole logistics empire. Then the registrar asked, "Sir, do you wish to marry this lady?" Tears welled in Luis's eyes. He nodded hard. "And Miss Diana, do you wish to marry Mr. Luis?" I thought of Zoe, of her betrayal, of their betrayal. I smirked coldly, pulled back the paperwork I had handed over, put on my sunglasses, and turned toward the door. No, in this life, you and I will never have anything to do with each other again. Chapter 6. Inside the chairman's office of Diana Logistics, I reviewed stacks of reports from various departments. My assistant was Noah, the most handsome guy in our high school class. He had graduated from a prestigious university, had a lucky-sounding name, and, with his good looks, I personally picked him to be my assistant after he applied. Chairwoman, that Zoe from high school is outside. She's making a scene, demanding to see you. No appointment, normally. I wouldn't let anyone in. I looked up from the files, just to confirm who it was. Zoe? The school delinquent who got expelled for fighting? After all these years, I was actually curious to see what she'd become. Let her in. This time, Zoe wasn't flanked by any wealthy man with millions. She was dressed in cheap street stall clothes, but she still loved makeup, and with those bargain bin cosmetics caked on her face. She looked like she'd smeared herself in clown paint. The powder flaked off visibly. She lifted her chin arrogantly and ordered me, as if it were only natural. "Diana, for old time's sake, you should at least give me a job." Old time's sake? I didn't remember us having any such thing. What I did remember was her egging Luis into gang life, and when I tried to stop him, she sent thugs to beat me up. If the police hadn't passed by, I might not be here today. This was the kind of person, now asking me for favors. I curled my lips slightly. "You want a job? That's easy." That clearly caught her off guard. She stepped forward, excited. "Really? What kind of position?" "Delivery staff. Start from the bottom." "How's that sound?" to be honest. With her qualifications and attitude, being a courier was already generous. I'd started from scratch too, delivering parcels door to door, but she saw it as humiliation. Snatching her bag, she lunged across my desk, ready to smash it down on me. Noah grabbed her wrist and flung her aside, then calmly called security. Unexpectedly, Luis came up with them. He had special access, a privilege I had given him, as security held Zoe by both arms and began dragging her away. She shrieked, "Diana, so what if you have a little money? You think you're better than me? Just wait, I'll find my big bro and throw acid in your face. Let's see how long you stay smug then." At the word acid, my heart trembled violently. How could I forget? It was Zoe who first dragged that gangster into our lives, who started the chain that led to all of it. Before I could react, Luis slapped her across the face. He grabbed her chin, his voice low and furious. "That bottle of acid, was it you who told him to bring it? Speak!" Zoe trembled with fear, tears welling in her eyes as she confessed. "I just wanted Big Bro to scare her a little. She wouldn't listen to me. She insisted on quitting and opening that stupid shop. How was I supposed to know he'd go so far? This is all Diana's fault. She's a curse. She brought this on you." Before she could finish, Luis let out a beast-like roar from deep in his throat. He pinned Zoe to the ground, swinging his fists with no regard for consequence. Even when the police arrived, he was still shouting like a madman, "You ruined my life. You ruined my entire life with Diana." Chapter 7. Noah ran around, cleaning up the mess for me, since Zoe wasn't seriously injured, and refused to press charges. Luis only received a warning from the police. No criminal record. That little thug acts all tough outside, but when it comes to you, he's hopelessly loyal. I sighed sincerely, but in Luis's ears, those words stung like sarcasm. "Diana, I really know I was wrong. I'm a bastard. I'm scum. I must have been possessed to do something so inhuman." With every sentence, he slapped himself hard. In no time, his face was red and swollen on both sides. "That's enough." I closed my eyes, and when I opened them again, I said calmly, "It's all in the past, at least this time. You haven't wronged me, and I won't give you the chance to." Luis hung his head low, lost in shadows. Outside, I heard another commotion. Luis's parents had come looking for me again. In the first-floor lobby, they sat uneasily on the leather sofas. When they saw me coming down, they quickly stood up. "Diana, about the civil registry last time, it's okay. I got a new appointment number. When are you going to register again?" "Register?" I laughed coldly. "Luis doesn't even have a real job. What right does he have to marry me?" His mother rubbed her hands awkwardly. "Well, you two grew up together, and didn't you already say yes?" Not wanting to argue, I turned away, leaving it to Noah to handle. He always took care of everything, with absolute precision. He first poured them tea, then said earnestly, "You know as well as I do, Luis and our boss, they live in completely different worlds now. Even if she once had feelings for him, you can't be delusional forever, right?" Luis's mother clicked her tongue in dismay. "How is that delusional? He got hurt for Diana. She can't just repay him with ingratitude." And then, she started yelling in my building, accusing me. So she does understand what ingratitude means? Noah, ever composed, finally pulled a long face. "Auntie, that's out of line." Zoe already admitted it. She was the one who told that thug to throw acid. If you want to blame someone, go blame her. Actually, I've got a great idea. Zoe's still single, and clearly obsessed with Luis. Why not marry her off to him instead? When they still tried to argue, Noah raised his phone and pretended to dial. "Back in the day, your son got into all sorts of trouble following Zoe. If you keep making a scene, I might just report it and earn a reward." At that, Luis's parents had no choice but to leave in shame, dragging their son behind them. I called out to Luis from behind, "If you're willing to start as a warehouse porter, you can report to the workshop tomorrow. After all, This version of Luis had once done everything he could to protect me. At the very least, I wanted to give him a chance to earn his own living, and let him experience how hard I had worked to build this company from the ground up. Luis nodded repeatedly. I'm willing. As long as I get to see you. I'm willing to do anything. Chapter 8. Actually, he was wrong. As the chairwoman, I had an endless stream of things to manage every day. How could I possibly have time to visit the warehouse regularly? A full month passed before Noah reminded me that Luis had completed his probation and needed to be officially hired. That's when I remembered him again. I took a car to the sorting center on the south side of town. There, Luis was dressed in a dull gray uniform, hauling heavy packages one after another. The high and mighty man, in suits and leather shoes, was gone. Now, he was just a completely ordinary person, not far off. Zoe walked up to him with a thermos of tea, but Luis kept his lips tightly sealed, refused to drink, and told her to get lost. Didn't you like Zoe? Why don't you accept her now? If he didn't like her, he wouldn't have been seduced into dropping out in high school, and after marriage, he wouldn't have cheated so heartlessly, pouring salt onto my wounds. The moment he saw me, Luis's eyes welled up with tears. He reached into his pocket and took out a dusty, heart-shaped gold necklace. Maybe if you had kept wearing it, we could have been happy. I'm giving it to you now. Would you still wear it? I had torn that necklace off and thrown it away. The day I found out he'd cheated, I had no idea where he retrieved it from. Give it to Zoe. Didn't you say you couldn't wait to see her wearing your family heirloom? Bearing your children? Diana! He dropped to his knees with a thud, clutching my legs tightly. I really love you, even if I was a complete bastard. My love for you was real from the start. But that love became too heavy. Every time I looked at your scar, I felt suffocated. It reminded me of the debt I could never repay. No matter what I did, it got to the point where I couldn't even touch you anymore. It's not that I didn't want to, I just couldn't. And now I understood. For some people, a great debt feels like a great burden. But thinking that way, isn't that worse than being a beast? Luis kept rambling. That was when Zoe barged into my life. She was just like I remembered, cheerful, carefree. When I was with her, I felt no pressure. It was the first time I could breathe. I indulged too much, and mistook that feeling for love. But she was just an emotional outlet. The only person I've ever truly loved was you. Please, give me one more chance. Trust me. It wasn't that I didn't trust him. It was that I had given him too many chances already. 3 years in high school, pleading with him to turn his life around. Even after I caught him cheating, if he had come back, I would have forgiven him. But now, I would no longer stop for him. He's not worth it. I tried to shake him off, but he clung to me like a lifeline, refusing to let go. Noah! At my call, Noah rushed forward and forcefully pulled Luis away. Then he gently wrapped his arm around me, as if protecting someone dear. You and him. Luis looked like he'd been struck by lightning. His face turned completely gray. Originally, I had no other thoughts about Noah, but in that moment, a vague memory surfaced. Back when I was blindly chasing after Luis, there had always been someone protecting me from the shadows. It must have been him. When Zoe ordered those thugs to beat me, he was the one who called the police. Because the moment I was rescued, Noah came running up right behind them, worried sick. And he only left after making sure I was okay. Diana! Give me another chance. Just one more chance. Luis's desperate roar rang out, and Zoe heard it. She pulled a fruit knife from her bag and crept toward me, with no warning. She lunged. It's all your fault. Go to hell. Chapter 9. Luis grabbed the tip of the blade. The knife pierced straight through his palm. Blood gushed out instantly, staining the floor. Noah reacted immediately. A swift kick sent Zoe flying across the room. Then he pulled out his phone and called the police. This time, Luis was seriously injured. The tendons in his hand were severed. He likely wouldn't even be able to work as a porter anymore. With a disfigured arm, and only a middle school education. It would be a tough life surviving out in the world. During mediation, Zoe sobbed as she pleaded with Luis's mother. I only attacked Diana because I couldn't bear to see her bullying Luis. It was an accident. I love him so much. How could I ever hurt him on purpose? Please, I can't go to prison. Forgive me. I beg you. Luis's mother let out a long sigh. She had always hoped Luis would marry me. But clearly, that was impossible now. At least Zoe was pretty. And her love for Luis had never wavered. That was the best she could hope for. If you're willing to marry Luis, I'll sign the letter of forgiveness. I will. I'm willing. Zoe nodded eagerly, eyes filled with joy. This time, Luis could finally give Zoe the wedding she had dreamed of for so long. But he didn't look happy at all. It was said that Zoe picked the wedding dress herself, the cheapest one available. There were no wedding photos, no honeymoon, Luis said with his current appearance. He didn't want to scare anyone. Even the wedding venue was decorated entirely by Zoe. Up at dawn, working until dusk, Luis, on the other hand, came empty-handed. As if he weren't the groom, guests whispered among themselves. Such a beautiful girl. Why would she marry someone like Luis? Honestly, I thought she was better than Luis too. Putting character aside, at least her love was unwavering. She never hesitated. She never betrayed. Before the ceremony began, I stopped by the restroom. As I was washing my hands, a pair of arms yanked me into a storage room. Luis stood before me, a red flower pinned to his chest, looking worn and hollow. After today, I'll really be someone else's husband. Diana, are you really sure you don't want me? I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Seriously? He's still tangled up in this? Could he not, just for once, take responsibility for his own feelings? If he didn't want to get married, why agree to it? Relax. Noah and I are already engaged. Next month, we're flying to Europe for our honeymoon. We'll be happy for the rest of our lives. After the last crisis, Noah had finally confessed his feelings. Only then did I understand why this top student who had studied abroad refused all big city job offers just to come back here and be my assistant. Everything he'd ever done for me, I had been blind to it. Back then, Noah told me, your heart was filled with Luis. You couldn't see anyone else. I returned home with one goal, to make you happy. Then I heard you were marrying him. Luckily, you woke up in time. Otherwise, I think my heart might have shattered. Now, my coworkers at the company had even started teasing him. Hey, boss's wife. Chapter 10. Just thinking of Noah made me smile unconsciously. You haven't smiled like that in a long time. I guess I couldn't make you happy. I ignored Luis and returned to the ceremony, but Zoe strutted over like a proud peacock, swaggering right up to me to show off. I told you back in high school, Luis would be mine. You'll never have him. I couldn't help but laugh. Was Luis some kind of trophy? He's just trash. You can keep him, no thanks. During the ceremony, they went around toasting table after table, almost as if they were deliberately flaunting their happiness. Luis pulled Zoe close and kissed her recklessly right in front of me. He probably thought I'd be jealous, but honestly, it was more like free entertainment. I even recorded a video and sent it to Noah for fun. Luis's parents were finally proud. They didn't have to explain anymore why their son was still unmarried at his age. They bossed Zoe around all day. Pour more wine. Go urge the kitchen. Smile more. They treated her like a servant, not a bride. Wearing high heels, Zoe ran back and forth all day, spinning like a top, exhausted on what should have been her happiest moment. After the wedding, Zoe had to take care of the house and wait hand and foot on her in-laws. The once feisty bad girl was now painfully submissive, in the name of love. But unfortunately, Luis still didn't behave. Turns out, his reproductive system was just fine. Only it wasn't Zoe who got pregnant, but the receptionist at Luis's new company. Word was, they got drunk at a company party, and things just happened. Zoe lost it. She stormed into the company in high heels, trying to start a fight with the receptionist. Luis's mother sided with the girl, screaming at Zoe, "You can't even give us a grandchild." Zoe finally broke down and cried. Turns out, after the wedding, Luis barely touched her. "Every time I touch you, I'm reminded of how badly I wronged Diana," he had told her. "Zoe, let's divorce. You knew I never loved you." Zoe snapped completely, screaming, crying, and tearing up the house. The karma finally came full circle and tore into her like a blade. Word was, she lost the baby. Zoe hired a thug, a recently released ex-con, to beat the receptionist so badly that she miscarried. She was arrested for intentional harm. In prison, Luis divorced her, and on her way to the hospital one day, Zoe jumped out of the transport van and died on the freeway. From then on, Luis lived alone, never married again. He drifted like a hollow shell of a man. Noah, is this really your university in Birmingham? During our honeymoon, Noah took me to visit the school where he studied abroad. He showed me his old notebooks. Every few pages, he had written my name. We stood under Big Ben in London, climbed the Eiffel Tower in Paris, and rode through the canals of Venice, always wrapped in each other's arms. After rewriting the mistakes of my past, I finally found my happiness.